There is so much noise in my everyday life as a music therapist. I make music with people, but not gonna lie, most of the time it's just noise because my clients are not required to have musical skills. You know what I mean. There are other noises in my life as well. Advertisements everywhere, podcasts I listen to, conversations or gossips that I come across with, etc. Yes, it's very noisy. That's how, once in a while, I end up in this dark, silent, and weightless flotation tank. So I noticed this cycle in my life recently. Sometimes I don't feel motivated because the work is not satisfying, not fun, or not urgent. And the new music is getting louder but more boring these days. So I start to seek stimulation everywhere. I want something new in my career, my workout, my routines, and the way I interact with people. That would be nice. This is probably why, even though I quit Instagram in May, my screen time still increased from Safari, WhatsApp, even on Facebook and Pinterest. I thought I needed stimulation, but all I got was the fake dopamine hit. It's not just mindless scrolling on your screen, but also in real life, you just mindlessly browse for everything to stimulate yourself, but you don't get satisfied. I understand that it's like a human behavior that we constantly look for things outside, just like how our ancestors used to look out for threats in the jungle. But nowadays, we just look for distractions instead of focusing on the real thing. And I think this can be a problem long term because it's a cycle. We cannot switch off, we constantly need more input, more stimulation. And eventually, we lose touch of our creativity and our inner voice because we are just mindlessly consuming without any actual output. It's just like those people in front of the slot machine. We are just mindlessly, compulsively keep doing something and waiting for the next hit. And I do think that turning off the noises and tuning into our inner voice is important because this helps us find direction or meaning of life based on what we truly want. Yes, nothing is forever, but listening to my own voice single-handedly changed my career, my relationships, and how I approach life. In my career, I talk about this all the time in my channel. I felt so disconnected when I was an accountant working 9 to 6 in the cubicle because that's not how I wanted to show up and contribute to the world. I was fairly good at accounting, but that didn't mean I was reaching my full potential. And eventually the disconnection between what I truly wanted and the reality was too much that I decided to quit. And listening to my own voice in my relationships meant that I got rid of what didn't serve me. And more importantly, I rebuilt the relationship with myself. And this also changed how I approach life because I'm no longer living just for the weekend. I have different adventures in life and I always follow my curiosity. I make time for myself. But when you don't turn off those noises, you will be drowned in the sea of mindlessly searching, scrolling. This is what I truly believe. We have to connect with ourselves. The only way to be happier, more fulfilled in life is to be authentic. And over the years, I've developed a few principles for myself that guides my habits and behaviors in order to be as authentic as possible. And I call this my noise cancelling system for mental clarity and peace. Here are my 3 principles in my noise cancelling system. The first one is to defy society's script. This is when you need to ask why all the time. Using me as an example again, I just turned 30 and I refuse to settle down, whatever that means in the society nowadays. And I changed my career 2 years ago because I want to follow my interests and curiosity. I wanted to leverage my strength so that I can help serve other people. That's how I quit accounting and went into music therapy. Coming from an Asian background, I totally understand that how stressed it can be when your parents or the society or even the neighbors that you don't even know, they just pressure you so much, trying to fit in, trying to be someone else. That's why you should keep asking yourself why you have to do that, why you have to follow a path that you did not set for yourself, why you did not experiment other options, what's stopping you, what's the unknown out there, how can you get more information on the other side so that you can take the leap, etc. Asking why and defining your own values are important. Don't follow the society's script. There's only one you in the world. Sometimes you do have to turn down the noises that are not serving you, even though they might come from someone you love or someone you are close to. You have to be yourself, be authentic, and go after what you really want. Second principle is information diet. As I mentioned earlier, there are just too much noise and stimulation nowadays. Information is overloading and just too accessible nowadays. That's why I use the word diet, because we have to be really careful and intentional about what we process, what we put into our mouth, our ears, our brain as well. Because everything you take in will unconsciously shape your worldview and form as evidence. And also there is confirmation bias. You try to seek out more information about what you already believed. That will narrow your worldview and make you not achieve your goals if your surroundings tell you that you cannot. I gave up watching news a long time ago, and I only follow my interest and curiosity when it comes to podcast listening, for example. I just take in whatever might benefit me. And for me, that might mean that I don't consume news. I try to avoid advertisements. I don't have Instagram. And I just search for podcast episodes that I genuinely am interested in, like those health and finance stuff. Follow your curiosity instead of mindlessly consuming stuff. The third principle is to reflect on your core value every quarter, 3 months. I use Chris Sparks' top value worksheet on my Notion, which you can find a copy below. And every 3 months, I give it an overview and an update. And then I set the monthly goals based on the values, and then I will alter my behaviors and routines based on those values. I think it's totally okay to update your values every now and then, as we go through different seasons in life. For example, now might be the period I really want to focus on career and freedom instead of family relationships, for example. So there's always a slight sacrifice that you have to make, but the core values, like your inner voice, that will never change. But if something stays on your top 3 values every quarter, that probably means that your inner voice really yearns for that particular quality. For me, that's freedom. That's why for me, reflecting on my core values every quarter really serves me well in terms of living a more authentic life. So this is my very brief overview of my noise cancelling system. On the other hand, I feel like stimulation can sometimes be very useful in different contexts. For example, it makes you demand more from your career or your workout because you want to raise the standard of something. That's why you need more stimulation and input. And nowadays, I try to pivot into a better kind of stimulation. That might mean learning language to stimulate the brain, making music to stimulate my creativity and overall coordination, singing and playing instruments, and progressive overloading in my workout. And also I try to have more stimulating conversations with my friends. Here are a few extra reflection prompts to get going if you still feel a bit stuck. First of all, in what area do you feel like you need more input to get going? In what area is stimulation seeking useful? In what area do you want to manage your stimulation? Sometimes we just need some space in our lives, physically and emotionally, in order to reconnect with ourselves. I believe that to truly live is to be authentic, however you define it. To do that, we need to manage our stimulation and information input so that we can really hear our inner voice. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and tell a friend about this video. You can also watch more personal development videos here, in which I talk about different topics like productivity, mental health, quarter life crisis, etc. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.